Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money. I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we're celebrating today. You know, this is a day that I could really get behind because there is, it's a lot of good stuff. National Potato Day. Now, Josh, you can tell you got little ones. If you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 and FM 98.1 video feed, you're seeing a picture right there. Maybe they don't. Do they still have it, Mr. Potato Head? Okay, that's that got Josh has a Mr. Potato Head right there on the screen for us. So, what's your favorite way of having potatoes? French fries, baked, au gratin. There's got to be fried, hash browns, home fries, tater tots. Well, I guess that'd be a different type. There's a lot of them in there, and I'll tell you mine any way you put it on the plate, right? I mean, how do you go wrong with National Potato Day? And for those of us that have beaten anorexia, National Soft Ice Cream Day. Well, Josh, is that strawberry? Okay, you a strawberry guy, Josh? Okay, Josh is a strawberry guy. Chocolate for me, peanut butter chocolate, you know, Rocky Road. I guess none of those are soft serve, are they? Although, you know, when you look at the weather today, if it's not soft serve ice cream, stand outside for about 10 minutes. It'll be soft serve. I guarantee it. You know, I don't go very often, but McDonald's, you know, that's soft serve, isn't it? Although I'm not sure it's ice cream, ice milk, or, you know, when it's McDonald's, you don't necessarily know exactly. National Soft Ice Cream. So Soft Ice Cream Day today. Okay. Let's see what the markets are doing. Do we want to see what the markets are? Yeah, look at that. So we've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 198 points. NASDAQ is up 152. The S&P 500 is up 43. Oil up $1.74 a barrel. Ow! Yeah, we don't like that. Gold up $161 an ounce. Wow, that's a nice move there. We've got the 10-year Treasury down 5 basis points. The mortgage bond is up 18 basis points. Remember, bond up, rates down. So we like seeing that bond go up. And I'm going to submit, this is my theory, and you heard it here first. So why is the market going the way it's going? Well, the U.S. just started buying more of the longer-term bonds. The Federal Reserve. Do you think it could be that the Federal Reserve and the administration are finally working together for the American people instead of against each other, against the American people? We've seen what's been going on with bonds, and we've seen how places like Japan have been selling to kind of to control or to prop up their finances or their monetary system. Well, if the Federal Reserve goes and buys that which the Japanese are selling, that could help the system. And we're seeing that what the buying of that has helped move that 10-year Treasury bond price up, which has brought the yield down 4.65 right now. So, and we've been watching that. We've been telling you in our weekend updates. If you're not getting them, shame on you. But we've been telling you that you can get the bond has been staying between 4.2 and 4.8 on the 10-year Treasury. It's been in that range. Well, right now we're at 4.654, down 5 today. So still firmly in that range. So we're watching all of that for you. What's going on, though, with the oil prices? Do we want to look at oil prices? And I don't know if you caught this one yesterday. Only in California. So let's get the gas prices first. National average gallon of gasoline, $4.09 a gallon, $4.09 a gallon. California, $5.58 a gallon, up a penny. National average is up about 2 cents. So, and then you got to love it. So California now that's come out starting, I think, in 2029 or 2030, the state is going to regulate what kind of tires you can put on your car. Yes, you heard me say it here.
I got a bad feeling about this.
They want energy efficient tires. I mean, you can't get any wackier than this state.
What's the big idea?
So, and they say, well, it's going to save people money. Now, the tire companies say it's going to cost an extra $100 or $150 per tire.
Ow!
But the state says, or the regulators say, but wait a second, you're going to save on gas. I wonder how that's going to work out for all the people with electric vehicles. I wonder what they're going to save on when they don't get to have the tires that they want. Wonder what it's going to do for the vehicles that need a specific tire in order to, get the performance that the vehicle is made for. Regulators don't care. They are just a bunch of idiots.
Such an idiot.
And this is the state of California.
Such an idiot.
And we got, when are we going to vote for to get rid of some of these people? Just curious. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, higher rates could actually help housing supply. We'll talk about how. Your 7.5% mortgage and 24% credit cards are bleeding you. One restructure stops both. And we're going to give you a stream. I've got a whole bunch of questions here. And we're going to go through a lot of questions that are coming through that we're seeing online. We're going to discuss those with you right here on Ron Siegel Radio. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by rsrloans.com, rsrloans.com, and every day at this time, OBMMI. They provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry. Calculator max lock rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They tell us the number you put in your mortgage calculator to determine your principal and interest payments. If you don't have a mortgage calculator, shame on you. Get it for free, rsrlinks.com/calculators, rsrlinks.com/calculators. Whole suite of over 90 calculators. You can do anything you want in your world of finance right there, rsrlinks.com/calculators. What did rates do yesterday on 818 day? Conventional 30-year fix, 6.703. That was up. Jumbo 30-year fix, 6.777. That was up. FHA 30-year fix, 6.46 down. VA 30-year fix, 6.362 up. And the USDA 30-year fix, 6.484. That one was down. What is driving the markets right now? What's happening in the markets right now? Well, we've got the S&P 500 is up 46 points. Oil is up $1.75 a barrel. 10-year Treasury is down 5 cents, 4.657. And we've got the mortgage bond up 20 basis points. Remember, bond up, rates down. That's just the way the math works on that one. So what's the driver? You can get all those numbers. Those are the numbers that come across. And yes, Google.com, ChatGPT, they all have that. So what's driving it? It's an announcement of the Treasury stating they're going to double the size of their buyback operations of longer dated treasuries, including 10-year, 20-year, 30-year treasuries. The Treasury started their buyback operations in 2024 and doubled the size in 2025 to $2 billion per operation, or roughly $2.7 billion per month in 10-year treasuries. They announced this morning they're going to double the operation size once again, starting September 9th, which means they'll be buying about $5.5 billion per month. While this is not a huge amount compared to some of the quantitative easing we've seen in the past from the Fed, it's giving the bond market a boost. The Treasury is likely doing this because yields have recently risen to levels not seen in quite some time. The 30-year bond reached the highest yields in almost 20 years, while the 10-year was at the highest level since January 2025. They said they would do the increased size operations through at least November 4th, but as we've seen in the past, we'd not be surprised if it continued much longer. This is helpful in today's environment where the U.S. continues to add to its debt load, having to issue treasuries as a result. At the same time, there have been a lot of corporate bond issuance from companies like Alphabet who are trying to fund their AI build-out, and the yields are high to entice demand at almost 7%. This is providing competition for treasuries and draining some liquidity that would normally go to them. The National Association of Realtors released their pending home sales report for July, which measures signed contracts on existing homes. The report showed that pending sales fell 2.3% last month. This was weaker than the slight gain expected, but there was a 0.6% revision higher in June, which makes today's miss look greater. But sales were still soft. Pending home sales are now down 2.2% year over year. The National Association of Realtors said the highest rates of the year are causing a pullback in contract signings, which makes sense. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by rsrloans.com, rsrloans.com. So let's go to it. Let's look at Ask Me Anything. Let's see if I can see what's some good numbers for you, or good questions that we have coming in here. Let's see. What is home equity? Well, that goes to some of the basics that we've talked about on Ron Siegel Radio. We've talked about that one before. What is home equity? Very, very simple. What your home property is worth less the amount that you owe on it. Not your down payment, but what the current value is and what you owe. So if your property is worth $700,000, you owe $200,000. Home equity is $500,000. Generally, you're going to see it the other way around, right? So you have a home that's $700,000 value, you owe $500,000, so your equity is $200,000. Now, if you don't know what your equity is, or you don't want to do math, I know 7 minus 2 is a tough number for some people. Did you see that latest report coming out of Berkeley where the calculus students couldn't do basic math and fractions? I digress. But if you want to know what the number is right there for you, for your family, well, it's pretty simple. rsrlinks.com/myhome. rsrlinks.com/myhome. And if you go right to that, if you go on there, then one of the things you're going to get, there's going to be two things right there. Number one, you're going to get a report once a month about the value of your home. Now, if we are able to identify it, or if you tell us what your current mortgage amount is, it'll subtract it for you and give you what your equity is and what you might be able to do with it, give you some ideas in there. Also, once a week, we're going to tell you things to do in your neighborhood. And there's also a bunch of discounts and things like that from your neighborhood that we share there. rsrlinks.com/myhome. But take it one step better. You got to love this one. Every Thursday through the end of September, we're going to do a raffle. And everybody that's registered through rsrlinks.com/myhome, we're going to put them on our wheel of names and we're going to run the raffle. And you have the opportunity of winning either a $100 gift card to Costco or a $100 gift card to Target. Your choice. You have to tell us which you want, but $100 for Target or for Costco. And we're going to do that wheel of names once a week through the end of September. And yes, but you've got to be in the My Home program. So that'll come up saying a report saying Home AI. It's something we send out. So you've got to be in the program. If you're not in the program, when we go and download the list to put it into the wheel of names, your name won't be there. So you won't have an opportunity. $100. So that's what is home equity? What is a home equity loan? We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but it's basically just a loan that is secured by your real estate. It's a home secured by that property. So let's say you've got $1 million home. You've got a $500,000 loan on it. You've got $500,000 in home equity. Now, you can't borrow all of it unless you're going to do on a loan, on a home equity loan. But, you could refinance if you're a VA, if a veteran, you can do a 100% loan on the VA loan. But for most of us who are not veterans, what you can do in that case is you're able to go and get a home equity loan. rsrlinks.com/home equity. rsrlinks.com/home equity. And we put together a whole dashboard for you right there where you can see all different kinds of programs. Now, there are programs if you have good credit, if you have bad credit, if you have no credit, if you have no income. There are all kinds of home loan programs in there to use your equity. Your credit score in some instances will help you get better rates. If you have the really, really poor credit and you don't have enough income to qualify, there's even a loan in there that can use some of your equity for that. So rsrlinks.com/home equity, and you'll find that available right there for you. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, higher rates could actually help housing supply. We'll talk about how. And Mortgage 101, your 7.5% mortgage and your 24% credit cards are bleeding you. Could even be a 3% mortgage and 24% credit cards are bleeding you. One restructure stops both. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's...
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Higher rates could actually help housing supply. Here's how. You may have heard the number of homes for sale isn't growing like it was. And maybe this has you worried you won't find a home you love when it's time to make your move. But that may be about to change. Here's why your pool of options may actually start ticking back up again. Growth has slowed, but it has not stopped. Active listings are up 2.1% year over year in July, according to Realtor.com. Back in January, inventory was up 10%, and in May of 2025, it was up 31.5%. So, growth has cooled off a lot over the last year. The past 3 months, though, have all seen inventory growth land in roughly the same range, which is a sign this slowdown may be nearing its floor. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 or FM 98.1 video feed, you are seeing a chart. Has inventory growth reached the bottom? So what does that mean for you? Homes are still coming onto the market. Every single one of these bars that you see on the graph shows a period where inventory grew. So don't be discouraged or let this make you think you're out of options. Plus, we've seen more stability in the numbers lately, which is a good sign. The most homes for sale since 2019 compared to the rock bottom lows of 2021. Inventory has climbed back substantially. Nationally, the number of homes for sale has been up year over year consistently for now 33 months. And inventory has almost doubled in just a few years. So don't get too hung up on the pace of that increase. This July was actually the best July for inventory since 2019. And you can see that on the next graph that's on your screen right now. And again, if you miss any of this, go to Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. You can see the shows. They're all right there. Now, the market still needs about 150,000 listings to get back to pre-pandemic levels, but things are quickly approaching normal. And experts think we may even be back to 2019 levels by the end of this year, even with the slowdown we've already seen. And that's thanks to one unlikely actor: mortgage rates. Why higher rates may actually help inventory grow, it works like this. When mortgage rates climb, inventory tends to climb with them, as Mike Simonson, chief economist at Compass, explains. When rates rise, inventory rises. When rates fall, inventory falls. So from July last year to March this year, rates ease lower and all the inventory growth of the past several years evaporated. If rates move higher from here or stay elevated for a longer period of time, then we should expect supply to build again, unquote. Well, rates are expected to hold in mid to upper 6% range for a while longer. And Realtor.com's latest forecast has inventory ending 2026 up 3.6% year over year. That means two things. Inventory growth is forecast to pick up a little bit throughout the rest of this year. and inventory is projected to close the year at historically normal level, right about where it stood at the end of 2019. For buyers, that's a win. Even if today's rates aren't your favorite, they're helping the number of homes on the market to grow, and more homes for sale means more choices, more room to negotiate, and less pressure to rush your search. Bottom line, the number of homes for sale is growing slowly, but surely, and that means more options for your move. Want to see what's available in your area? Give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, and we'll get you a list of what's available in your area. So that's the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com. Now, if you want to know what's for sale in your area without the advertising, without getting called by a million people, rsrlinks.com/home shopping, rsrlinks.com/home shopping. So you can go on there and just put in the parameters of what you want. Now, I'm going to tell you, do yourself a favor. Don't put in parameters that are out of reach. If you've got a $700,000 budget, don't put in $1 million shopping area, because it's going to upset you. You're going to look at that and then you're going to say, well, I can't find anything I like. Well, of course you can't find anything you like. You're looking out of your budget, and then you got yourself spoiled to think that that's what you can afford, that you should have that white picket fence with a pool and the rock grotto and everything else. Well, that might be down the road. It's just not the right thing for you right now. Look at what's in your budget. If you don't know what your budget is, that's understandable. rsrlinks.com/certified buyer. We'll find out. We'll work on your budget. rsrlinks.com/certified buyer. And the other one is, if you know that you've got to clean up your debt, rsrlinks.com/DDD. That's the debt done date. You put in all your debts in there, and it's going to run through a system of 82 checks to find out different ways that you can reduce or eliminate all of your debt, including your home mortgage. If you don't have a home mortgage, don't worry. I know we all have debts. rsrlinks.com/DDD. Let's go back to some of the questions we have coming in. What's the rate for a home equity loan? Now, if you're a regular listener of Ron Siegel Radio, you know better than asking that question.
You know better than that.
The best rate on the wrong loan costs you thousands of dollars. So the best rate doesn't matter. What matters is what's the right program for you and your family. Stop asking the wrong question. And I know most people ask that question because they don't know any other questions to ask. So stay away from that one. Where do I get a home loan calculator? Okay, that's a simple one. rsrlinks.com/calculators, or just go and we do all the math for you, because rsrlinks.com/myhome, rsrlinks.com/myhome. You'll be able to calculate how much equity you have. It looks at what the current market value is by using our proprietary automated valuation model. It'll give you an idea of what the value of your property is. Now, you should have your mortgage statement. If you don't, it'll be coming within the next 6 days. It almost always comes right around the 20th to the 25th. So look at the mortgage statement, compare it to what you see on your home report, rsrlinks.com/myhome. If it's not the same, you can modify it within the report, and it's going to tell you what your property value is. It'll tell you what your equity is. It'll tell you what the options you might have in order to come across and maybe save a little money. rsrlinks.com/myhome. What is a home equity line of credit? Now, you know something? I'm going to save that until the next segment, because it might be covered in our report that we're going to talk about there. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, Your 7.5% mortgage and 24% credit cards are bleeding you. One restructure stops both. We'll do that and get to some more of your questions when we come back. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's...
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-TEEN90. What do we have? Mortgage 101 today. Mortgage 101 brought to you by rsrloans.com, rsrloans.com. Here's a number that should make you curious. In the first 6 months of this year, about 45,000 families moved out of a conventional mortgage and into an FHA loan. And nearly 1 out of every 4 of those loans was done by the biggest lender in America. Why would the biggest lender in the country be moving people away from conventional loans? Stick around because the answer affects your wallet. I am Ron Siegel, Certified Liability Advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. So let's talk about what's going on here, because there is a real strategy buried inside this trend, and there's also some marketing spin you need to see through. First, who are these 45,000 families? The average credit score on these loans is about 660. These are folks who bought or refinanced in 2022, 2023, 2024, when rates were in the 7s. And here's the part most people never hear. On a conventional loan, your credit score does not just affect your approval. It affects your price. A borrower with a 660 score pays what the industry calls loan level price adjustments. Think of it as a penalty box. The penalty can push their real conventional rate 0.5% or more above what you see advertised. FHA does not price that way. FHA does not care nearly as much about your score. So for a family with a score under 700, an FHA loan can carry a rate that is close to 1 full point lower than the conventional loan they are sitting in. Now, before you grab the phone, here's where I have to be your certified liability advisor and not a commercial. FHA loans come with mortgage insurance. There's an upfront premium and a monthly premium. So that full point of rate improvement, after mortgage insurance, the real savings is smaller than the headline. Anyone who only quotes you the rate is only telling you half the story. Say it with me. Strategy beats rate always. The best rate on the wrong product can cost you thousands, and the right restructure at a decent rate can save you thousands. Let me show you what I mean. You've probably heard the pitch, refinance and miss 2 mortgage payments. Is that true? Sort of. Here's the honest version. Mortgages are paid in arrears, meaning you pay for last month. When we structure a refinance correctly, you close near the end of a month, and your first payment on the new loan is not due until the first of the second month after closing. So there can be 2 months where no mortgage payment comes out of your checking account. Now, full disclosure, you're not skipping anything for free. Interest still accrues, and it gets rolled into the new loan. This is a deferral, not a gift. But here's what nobody tells you. Used correctly, that deferral is a cash flow tool. And there's a second piece. When your old loan pays off, your old escrow account, the money set aside for taxes and insurance, gets refunded to you. Federal law says the servicer has to send it within about 20 business days. Yes, we set up a new escrow account on the new loan, but that check still lands in your mailbox. So what does this mean for you? Let's run a hypothetical family. Call them the Johnsons, not real clients, but I meet a version of them every single week. The Johnsons have a $750,000 mortgage at 7.5% from 2023. Credit scores in the 660s. Their principal and interest payment is roughly $5,200 a month. But that's not their whole picture. They're also carrying about $45,000 in credit cards at 24% and a car loan around $35,000. Added up, and they're sending close to $7,100 out the door every month. Their household blended interest rate, the average rate across everything they owe, is about 8.5%. Nobody ever showed them that number. Now watch what a strategic restructure can do. We move them into the right loan, and because of how FHA prices credit scores, their mortgage rate improves by roughly 1 point. We consolidate the high-cost debt into the plan. 2 mortgage payments deferred. That's over $10,000 that stays in their checking account. Escrow refund. Call it another $4,000 or $5,000. That's roughly $15,000 of cash flow inside the first 60 days. And we aim every dime of it at the most expensive debt they have. And we find that rsrlinks.com/DDD. rsrlinks.com/DDD. When the dust settles, the Johnsons' total monthly outflow drops by somewhere around $1,400 a month. Their blended rate falls from about 8.5% down to around 7%. The blended rate falls from 8.5% down to around 7%. Same house, same income, different strategy. Now, let me be equally clear about the caution. Numbers like these are a hypothetical example, not a quote. Not every family gets this outcome. Not every family qualifies. And if you stretch credit card debt over 30 years with no payoff plan, you did not solve the problem, you just repainted it. Every restructure we design comes with a debt done date. An actual date your debt is gone. rsrlinks.com/DDD. That's the difference between a refinance and a strategy. And one more thing. The biggest lender in America is calling its own customers with this pitch right now. If that's you, get a second set of eyes before you sign. The question is never can you qualify. The question is whether it is suitable for your family. Eligibility is easy. Suitability is what we do. If your credit score is under 700, or you're carrying a mortgage from 2022, 2023, 2024, or the credit cards are creeping up, here's the next step. Go to rsrlinks.com/strategic refi. rsrlinks.com/strategic refi. We'll look at your whole picture, every balance, every rate, every payment, and show you what a restructure would actually do for your cash flow. No half stories, just math. I am Ron Siegel, your Certified Liability Advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. That's Mortgage 101, brought to you by rsrloans.com, rsrloans.com. Now, remember, as we've talked about this many, many times, we've got the rsrlinks.com/two-step. When we clear up your credit, when we do this refi like I just talked about, what's going to end up happening after 6, 7, 8, 9 months? Well, you're going to see if you follow the plan and use the money strategically to pay down debt and not run back up your credit card debt. We're going to show you rsrlinks.com/cc payment. I'm sorry, rsrccpayment.com. rsrccpayment.com. We show you the correct way for FICO scoring purposes to pay your credit cards. rsrccpayment.com. back to the two-step. So you go and you look at the program I just laid out. You can take and pull money out of your equity, take and get that new loan that's right for you, strategically pay down your debt over the next 6 to 9 months. You're going to see that your credit scores are going to improve if you follow the plan. Never guarantee anything because so many people don't follow the plan. But if you follow the plan, they improve. Then we look and we see, and we always monitor this. Oh yeah, rsrlinks.com/myhome. Every single month, you're going to get a report, and it's going to show you where your interest rate is and where the market is. We're always watching. And I get a report every morning on my computer telling me who can benefit from where rates are right now. rsrlinks.com/myhome. So the second part of that two-step is to restructure out of the FHA loan into whatever might be the best loan for you when the market is correct. I don't know what that loan is. We won't know until we get there. But we have to have a strategy. That's the bottom line to the whole thing. So hopefully this helped you. This gave you some good insight. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.